At ReadOn, we've been really interested in India Inc.'s growth story. We've realized that India has the potential to overtake a lot of developing nations, but a few factors, a few drawbacks keep pulling it back. So, we are trying to look at different sectors where India could possibly beat other Asian countries and what exactly is stopping it. Today, our focus is on the textile sector. Welcome back to Revolution Read On, a daily podcast where we break down one story from the world of business and finance. Click on the subscribe button to never miss an update from us. Here's your story for today. Why textile, you ask? Because India right now has a great opportunity to overtake two of its neighbors in terms of textile and apparel exports, China and Pakistan. Since COVID happened, the world has been trying to reduce dependence on China. And the fact that China uses slave labor to pick cotton has given many companies the perfect excuse to ban imports. Meanwhile, Pakistan has tragically lost a major chunk of its cotton crops due to the floods that hit the country. So, if India strikes while the iron is hot, we could replace these countries as exporters of 248 items, including yarn, ready made garments, man made fabrics, terry cloth towels, and lots more. And the best part is, India already has a 5% global market share in these items. So, now it is all about finding the buyers. Doing this can, number one, increase our exports to $65 billion, up from $36 billion in 2019. And number two, create 7.5 to 10 million jobs in the textile industry. But this is a long shot. Not only do we face various challenges on our home ground in this space, but we have two major competitors as well, Bangladesh and Vietnam. Bangladesh and Vietnam have emerged as the world's clothing factories. A lot of the designer stuff that you wear probably comes from our next door neighbor, Bangladesh. Yes, these tiny countries have already surpassed India in terms of garment and textile exports. While India's garment exports were worth $44.4 billion in 2022, Vietnam's exports were worth $45 billion and Bangladesh's were worth $52.082 billion. Now, the difference between these numbers isn't huge, but the fact that these tiny countries with limited resources have managed to beat us is alarming. And if they continue at the same pace, they could pick up the market share left behind by China and Pakistan, leaving India in a lurch. So, what are they doing right that we aren't? For starters, Bangladesh and Vietnam are cheaper. The shirt that we can make for 50 cents, Bangladesh makes for 22 cents. The low cost is achieved thanks to, number one, cheap labor. Yes, labor is even cheaper in these countries. Number two, cheap power. Power is 30 to 40% cheaper in Bangladesh. And number three, trade agreements. Bangladesh and Vietnam both have signed several agreements which make their products duty free in markets like Europe and Canada, which are also huge markets for us. Plus, their currencies are also much lower than the rupee, making it even cheaper for importers to buy goods from them. On top of all of this, Bangladesh is fast. It takes us 63 days to complete an order for delivery, while it takes Bangladesh 50 days. It takes us 10 days to get the shipment to port, while it takes Bangladesh 1 day. And when we do finally reach the port, the high prices of shipping containers, this price increase has happened ever since COVID, increases the price of our exports even more. So, what can be done? Thankfully, a lot of steps are already being taken to solve these issues. The government has launched product-linked incentive schemes to boost production of man-made and technical textiles to fill in the gap created by Pakistan and China. And to deal with Bangladesh and Vietnam, there are the National Logistics Policy and Renewable Energy Schemes. What's more, India is also planning on manufacturing containers in-home, making them much cheaper for us. So, we are on our way to take over the textile sector as well. Fun fact, Bangladesh imports a majority of its cotton from India. So, if worse comes to worse, we could stop these exports and use this extra cotton to spur our own textile industry. For now, it's a wrap on your story for today. Thank you for listening to this episode. We'll be back with more tomorrow.